Guys, Christmas, right? What is the real meaning of Christmas? I haven't done anything yet for Christmas. I usually need a couple weeks to let myself digest Thanksgiving. And then I usually like a time of transition just to get my focus on Christ, and then everything else comes after. So for this year, for me, Christmas is helping the homeless. I was just down the road off of Nevada. There's a park and there's a gas station. Tons of homeless people. Now, I did see one guy on the street holding a sign. He was working at it. I gave him $5 and a Bible. He appreciated it, invited him to church. He wasn't as open to church as the other guy this morning, but if you want to really see Christmas, go see the homeless. Honestly, go see the homeless. There was a guy who wasn't even in his right mindset. He was just sitting on the ground. What did I give him? My orange juice, and this is helping me lose weight. Honestly, I cannot eat without thinking of another person who is starving. So I gave him my orange juice and a Bible, invited him to church. He was very open to that and asked which way it was. And I told him, and he was just all grubby, full of dirt. I mean, it was really bad. And then the worst thing I saw, which was really sad. I mean, I could cry thinking about this. This guy was in a wheelchair, and these are the ones who are really helpless, the ones who are disabled. And they're just out in their wheelchairs all across the road. They're sitting there just waiting to die, basically. And I gave him, I didn't have anything else to give him. He didn't want my Bible, but I gave him the rest of my food, like half eaten, food, because that's all I had on me, like in front of me. And I gave him my soda. I took a couple sips and gave him my soda. He was so thankful. It was a cold soda. He's like, wow, a soda. I mean, just a soda. He was thrilled. And he's just trying to get around in a wheelchair. Old guy, so when you're old, that's going to make a huge difference, right? On what kind of work you can get. For some people, not for everyone. You can work when you're old. But very heartbreaking situation. There was another guy in a wheelchair. I couldn't really, help him. Yeah, I was on the wrong side of the road there. Sometimes it's hard to get to people if they're in a corner of the road or something. Very heartbreaking situation. So if you want to truly see Christmas, get out there and help people. It makes me sick to see so much materialism, so much wealth at the top not being distributed to the bottom. It's just disgusting to see people just, I'm not against the rich. There's rich people who are very generous and they are very wise with their money and they're helping a ton of people. But if you're filthy rich and you're just laying in it and you're using your money to not help people, you are truly poor in spirit. If you may have money, but if you don't have Jesus and you don't have a spiritual life and you don't love God, you are poor. That's what the Bible says. You're poor in spirit. You have nothing. Doesn't matter what your wealth is on earth. Um, so if you're wealthy, share with those, who have less. The Bible talks about this too, that those who are rich are expected to help the poor. And I think we have a society that is breaking the normal security for older people. Like when way back in my day, my grandmother had 10 kids. She never worked, so she didn't have to worry about herself. We hear people say now, parents shouldn't have to depend on their kids. But no, she had her kids, and that's the way it was. In many cultures, Mexican cultures too, you take care of your parents when they get older. So my grandmother never worked a day in her life, but she did live like she was very rich. Her kids took her out. They took her out to eat. They took her, out for drinks and everything. So did she deserve it? Well, she had it. Like my mother said, it was her mother. She wasn't really good to her kids, but this was their mother, and they did their part, and they did more than their part. So there was some kind of safety net from years ago, right, where you would have your kids, and your kids would take care of you when you got old. Or there was some kind of social security, which we see is, starting to run out, or some kind of jobs years ago when you did choose to work, a 9 to 5, and you did choose to have, give most of the time of your life to a company. They kept you. You had, health insurance, you had retirement, you had everything to take care of you and your family. It's not like that nowadays, right? Jobs are not like this unless you happen to have a really good job. So, we need to be thinking this season, especially of the poor. Jesus says to put your treasures in heaven where no one can steal them. So that's where we need to be focused, guys, especially as Christians. And to just be swimming in the wealth and not helping people, it's just disgusting. So have some Christmas spirit, help other people, guys. It's just getting bigger and bigger. Last night I saw someone on the other side of town where I worked, and the homeless were not there. So it's spreading out, and it's just getting bigger all the time. So we need to be helping people because the system is breaking.